Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, James Taylor. Happy birthday to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't quite have candles for the Nemesis James Taylor, but I've got a couple of things for him that we'll certainly present here over the next hour or so. But this is a real treat here for us tonight because this is our first official birthday celebration. I couldn't think of a better person to have the first ever birthday celebration for in the legendary Nemesis James Taylor, a man that has 120,000 followers between YouTube, Instagram, between TikTok. Of course, can never forget about TikTok. And he is also the host of the Nemesis Sessions. And he's only got Mr. Dragon coming on this coming Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And he's also our first member of our 5th class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And every time you bring up James Taylor, everybody comes out of the woodworks and everybody's got something to say. But truly, ladies and gentlemen, this is an important birthday because also James Taylor turns the big 4-0. And you think about the year 40, and obviously 40 years that James Taylor has been on this planet. And one of the greatest days in Sportswire Radio history, and maybe it was one of the days that eventually led to Sportswire Radio being where it is today on April the 25th, 1984, when somewhere in a wonderful hospital out there in the great state of Texas, there was a little baby Taylor born, James Taylor the Nemesis. And obviously we didn't know then on April 25th, 1984, it would lead to obviously the legendary career in TWA and, of course, that war that everybody's talking about with the Real Deal, Anthony Steele, and even some unfinished business with the likes of the Prophet Jay Wilde. And obviously what's also made him a darling for his own company, the Promo Wrestling Federation, where you see a who's who of people that have gotten their opportunity to learn how to cut a promo, to learn how to feel like they're in the wrestling business, and to all of a sudden be a part of a community, which this man has created. He's also even done some famous cooking sessions with James Taylor in the past. Maybe he'll bring that back. Maybe he'll do a New York steak once again, strip steak. Maybe he'll do that one of these days. And maybe he'll replace Julia Child if those still actually watch that out there in the world. But he has also been the host of the Nemesis Sessions, which in many ways has been the Bible for backyard and underground wrestlers, where a who's who of people have been on the show, and maybe even notably the company and wrestlers that got their big break because of the Nemesis James Taylor. Some would say this would be none other than two individuals named Omen Black and Soldier GP. After all, Soldier GP and James Taylor seem to be in a competition of who does have the best stunner. Now, I'll certainly leave that for a different conversation in a different time. But the point is that the Nemesis James Taylor, in many ways, the Nemesis Sessions has been the place where many prospective wrestlers or yarders and everybody else has gotten their chance to maybe air out their grievances or share their story. A who's who of people that have been on Sportswire Radio over the years have been on this show, such as the likes of the good guy, CJ Black, the most recent Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. Also, a guy you probably heard of named Craven Rage, who's actually no longer the WCE Interstate Openweight Champion. The resident rock star Sean Jovi, Sportswire Radio's rock star, who obviously dethroned Craven Rage and nearly incapacitated him. Chris Craven, the coach Chris Craven. Nicholas Crenson. Also, of course, can never forget about the likes of the Real Deal, Anthony Steele, and also Darkron. Of course, we're all forsaken when we hear the name Matthew Forsaken and Darkron of DKW, and he gave them their start, and so many other people. I could mention that company in Lafayette, Tennessee, but I don't think Mr. Taylor wants me to mention some of the many guests from that company that have been on the Nemesis Sessions. And we can go down the list of a who's who of people that have been on the Nemesis Sessions. But obviously, ladies and gentlemen, tonight isn't about James Taylor going down memory lane with him. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of a man that's turned 40 years old. In many ways, 40 is the new 20. And for James Taylor, he looks better than he did at 30. He looks better than he did at 20. He's moving better than he did in both decades. And I think he's about to take part in the biggest decade of his career. Look at those arms. Look at those muscles. We've seen the clips on Instagram. He's been going in the gym. He's been hearing what everybody's been saying. He's been hearing that the chatter is James Taylor, he's never going to come back. Oh, not so fast, my friend. James Taylor, the legendary nemesis, James Taylor, he's got something up his sleeve. But it's not about that. And we'll certainly, although thankfully we don't have some cake for him because he's going out in the gym and working out. And certainly if he had some cake, and that might take away from, some of those muscles he's been building, and obviously getting ready to maybe be more like Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner rather than the nemesis James Taylor. Certainly we hear James Taylor because we always holler when James Taylor comes on Sportswire Radio or when he puts on the Nemesis Sessions. And no, we're not going to freestyle about James Taylor and his legendary career and hitting 40, although some people have called on me on Sportswire Radio to certainly do some of that because after all, there's C2K talk show, but James Taylor not going to make sure we celebrate in that way because James Taylor not going to bring C2K on the Nemesis Sessions, but we are going to celebrate James Taylor hitting the big 4-0. I am sure many guests of Sportswire Radio will be here, whether they admit it or not. But I promise you, this won't be a freestyle. Now I'm just trying to kill some time to make James Taylor laugh and smile because that's what a birthday party is about. You need to celebrate and smile. You have had a long day. But obviously, I could do another about 3 or 4 minutes into that. Obviously, kind of like Paul Heyman, I just call it and just go with it. But it's not about all that. I could go on and on and on about this man. As a matter of fact, I will go on and on about this man. And I always go on and on about this man. And he's actually also, I guess, technically still a part of a company that I actually own a portion of in the Promo Wrestling Federation. And Mr. Taylor is technically still on the active roster. But I'm not going to get into that. So James Taylor's got his hands in many places. Obviously, he's a vlogger. He's got millions of views on YouTube and TikTok. But today, on this date, April 25th, 2024, we once again make history because James Taylor has always been about all wrestling matters. And now, ladies and gentlemen, all birthdays matter. And well, really, James Taylor's birthday matters tonight. So James Taylor, I don't have candles. I don't have a birthday cake for you. But what I am going to do here in recognition of your birthday hitting the big 4-0, I'm going to give you that introduction that I know whether people are admitting it or not, certainly want to hear. Everybody just watched many promotions out there, had shows tonight. You had WC was on the air, DBW, which I've certainly been a part of their show tonight. Obviously, a company in Lafayette had a show. I certainly won't mention those 3 initials for you because obviously we want you to celebrate. We want you to be happy and jolly and not kind of like Mr. Grinch, like James Taylor shooting like a Grinch. We don't want that. So we just want to make sure that we give you that introduction that so many of your peers have gotten and want this to be the first official birthday introduction for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. So I already sang for you happy birthday. So let's get right to it because all wrestling matters and the world is waiting for it. You're waiting for it. You're like, Tom, shut the heck up already. I give you that introduction that everybody's waiting for. And it's your 40th birthday. And this will be your almost like 40th introduction in Sportswire Radio history. So let's get right to it. So with that, wait for it. Further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one. Sports show. The man who's celebrating his 40th birthday, born April 25th, 1984, in the great state of Texas. He is the host of the Nemesis Sessions, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation. Operatives, join me in wishing a happy birthday to the first member of our 5th class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and our 31st member. His name is the Nemesis, James 2. Happy birthday!
Thank you. Appreciate that. Really do. Really do. How you doing today?
Ask me when I'm off the air because I'm definitely gonna need a few of those big gulps. I just put it that
By
way.
all means, get you a couple of big goals, man.
I might need a
Seriously.
couple of more thousand drips of them, but it's not about that. Now, I'll guarantee you this much. I want to say hello to a lot of people. And by the way, if you're in the chat and you actually want to wish James Taylor personally a happy birthday here live on the air, on the video, you're more than welcome to come on down. You're more than welcome to say hello. And that's an open invitation to anybody that's out there, whether you're a Hall of Famer or a guest on Sportswire Radio, whatever it is, you're welcome to wish James Taylor a happy birthday and say hello with us. And even if you're in Lafayette, Tennessee, because I know James, obviously, that was a company you used to work for, but you're more than welcome to, if you work in that company too, to come on down. But I got to say this, James, I guarantee you probably never had a 10-minute birthday introduction like you had here tonight on Sportswire. Is that safe to say?
No, sir, I haven't. And that was quite interesting. That's an interesting tale of events, but I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people lining up to say, Tom, can I have a birthday celebration?
Probably.
Guarantee you.
Oh, I probably sure. But I promise you, if you're out there, listen, if you are out there, Justin Parsley, Nicholas Crenson, Tyler Ark, the Mano Machinist, D'Angelo LaFlame, love D'Angelo LaFlame. The good guy, CJ Black, oh, I know he's going to be hearing this. And he also wanted to remind me that he's the only 7-star superstar because you were 6.2, which he's actually correct. He's actually good. But I'm sure you're going to talk to Mr. Dragon to petition that. Cameron Cage as well. But obviously, Mr. Taylor, I should probably ask you the burning question before I present to you some things on the air. What does it feel now to be 40 years old? I mean, the big 4-0, you hit it. And for those that are listening and watching, what does it mean to turn 40?
A couple of things. Number one, how I feel physically and mentally. Mentally, I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. I guess because of, as you grow older, you grow wiser. Mistakes you make, you learn from those mistakes. You should continue to make mistakes, but you continue to learn from them. I learn something new every day. I really do. Physically, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty much the same, if not almost as good as I did when I turned 20. The only difference is that I'm eating better nowadays than I did back then because back then I was so skinny. Yes, I was toned and I was in probably one of the best shapes of my life. And when you're broke and have nothing else, you don't have a vehicle and you walk everywhere and you're exercising. It's like I was fasting every other day. I would eat every other day. So I was in the tip top shape I needed to be, but didn't know it. Now I have access to everything that I want whenever I want it. So, of course, I'm not going to look as skinny as I did. Yeah, I weigh about 205, but would I like to weigh about 175? You're damn right. I definitely
I
would.
would actually like to weigh 175 because I'm a lot under 175.
Hey, if you want some of these pounds, I'll give it to you. And
I might use it
we'll,
because I've been walking so much these days because I'm back on the campaign trail in politics, and I think I walked like 20 miles the other day. So, I mean, I certainly think I might need a couple of pounds.
well, damn, there it is.
Yeah, well, that's why I get paid the big bucks. But obviously, it's good to hear that you feel as good as you did in 20, and I think you're obviously more mature than you were at the age of 20. And obviously, let me say hello to some people because I got a number of things I want to present to you. So let me formally say hello to some people. First of all, our most recent Hall of Famer, he is the good guy, CJ Black. I hope your birthday was only okay. So he at least said he hopes your birthday was okay. I mean, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's not bad. You gave him a bird.
Hey, I thought he would appreciate
And that wasn't
that
the Nelly
because,
Furtado song either, by the way. Nelly Furtado, by the way, I believe is over 40. And people, the way she looks these days, and I would say that most people would certainly say that she still looks pretty damn good. And that was a song. If you were around the age of 40 years old, she had a song. I think it was "I'm a Bird." It was around the summer of 2001. But she certainly has matured like a bird. But you certainly weren't giving a bird like the Nelly Furtado crooning version there to Mr. Black. It seemed.
Right, definitely. But you know what? Thank you, CJ. Appreciate it. It was pretty okay today. I mean, I went to Starbucks, got me a James Taylor coffee that I definitely deserved.
Oh,
That I
wow.
needed.
Now, dude, when you go to Starbucks, everybody must know you're this legend on TikTok, and everybody must wanting to, get pictures. I would have to think because of your massive following, you get recognized all the time.
You don't know. I mean, I
I
don't know.
I
You never
don't. I
know.
legitimately
I'm pretty
don't
well
know.
known around these parts for
I
sure.
figured that. I mean, I could actually tell you in my neighborhood, I would say that there are a fair amount of people that know me, but I would think, but you're on a whole nother level. That's why I would have thought that I would have been able
It's
to ask
not
you
as
first.
cracked up as you think it is, but there are times where I go somewhere like Walmart, Target, wherever I'm at, maybe in the mall. When I go to Street in Huntsville, I might have a random stranger come up and just like, "Hey, aren't you Taff? Ain't you
Well,
James Taylor?" And I'm
I,
like,
I'm
"Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna make
real."
you. Well, I'm gonna make you chuckle. I was obviously not. I knocked on someone's door today, and
Oh
it was
shit!
yeah, and no, it's a funny story. We're gonna get to comments in a second. And I knocked on the guy's door, and he goes, "You." He goes, "I know you," and I'm like, yeah, hi, how are you?" He's like, "I've seen you around." And I just want to say you're a real hustler. You're a hard worker. And I was like, "Oh, thank you. You must listen to my shows." And then I gave him my business card, and which I have a business card for Sportswire Radio. And there you go. You never know. And he's obviously caught some of our stuff on Facebook and other platforms. So you never know out there in the world. So you just
Mhm.
don't know. And speaking of people who I'd like to have back on Sportswire Radio one of these days, his name is Cameron Cage. Obviously, a man you know very well. You had a match with him once upon a time, and he is also looking to wrest away that Resurrection Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship from Justin Alexander. He says, "Happy birthday, James." And speaking of other people who I'm always excited to speak about and bring up his name, D'Angelo LaFlame. D'Angelo
What's
LaFlame,
up?
one of my favorites, of course, from Resurrection Wrestling, a man that is literally everywhere. He is becoming the new Jack Delta, says happy birthday. And Mr. LaFlame is going to be back here in the month of May. So looking forward to seeing our Resurrection Wrestling Internet Champion who actually defended that championship in another promotion. Tyler Ark, the man O'Matchiness, wishes you a happy birthday. Now, I know it's your birthday, but I guess I should ask, have you still considered about maybe bringing on a slew of the Triple W talent onto the Nemesis Sessions? Obviously, I know we've got Mr. Dragon coming on. He's a living legend, and he's obviously somebody that's done film reviews, he's done movie reviews, he's done music, he's done wrestling, the California Kid. I mean, he's a well-accomplished man, but after that, I think a lot of people are still wondering, will you bring on the likes of Tyler Ark? Will you bring on the likes of the Big Bad Silverwolf? Will you bring on the likes of Adonis Velios, the Drip King, the former AIW heavyweight champion? And of course, the other man that apparently has been having Craven Rage run scared of him and having nightmares of him, Mr. Loose Cannon. I mean, any working potential dates on that? For those
So
guys?
I'm booked until at least the end of May, but I am taking bookings for June and July. It's $25 deposit. So just hit me up on my PayPal. $25 deposit. Put your name in there. I'll send you an invoice if you're interested. And if we get that $25 deposit, because the total fee for that's going to be $100, then yes, you will get an hour and a half time on the Nemesis Sessions. Just let me know. California King already paid his dues, so here we go to go.
Wow. Okay, so you heard it first. So just maybe, if Triple W can pony up those $100, you can get your chance to be on the Nemesis Session. The Loose Cannon could talk about how Craven Rage has really been running from Loose Cannon rather than Omen Black over the past year. Is that basically what you're telling us? This is going to be
Yes.
great. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Boy, that's certainly going to be a Nemesis Sessions to remember. I am going to make sure I am parked in my seat hours earlier so I can watch that. So, you Triple W guys, you better make sure that that's the case. Also, I specifically want to say hello to one of my buddies who was actually just out there in the ring for Dominant Breakout Wrestling, Mr. Big Tex, because he and I actually shared a screen today. No. I didn't share a ring with Big Tex. I was actually on the same show that he was, which is Thursday Night Thunder Punch. Well, technically, we're part of the same company, you might want to say. I would say a session between two individuals named Mr. Judgment and also Roland Havoc. But Mr. Big Tex would like to say I saw a birthday stream is live, and if anybody wants to wish James Taylor a happy birthday on screen, you want to come on down and say hi, you're welcome to doing that. And Big Tex is going to be back on the show here very soon, and thank you, Big Tex, for tuning in. One of my favorites, by the way, he's only one of two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famers, alongside a man that you certainly know very well in Mr. Omen Black, and he would be a great candidate, by the way, for the Nemesis Sessions. He is Mr. Justin Parsley. He is one half of the second longest run for any XCW Tag Team Champion in history. and also Mr. Parsley here. Mr. Parsley, by the way, has been my point man now for bringing XCW back onto Sportswire Radio, because XCW is returning in your chair next Thursday night with a gentleman named Mitchell Maverick. He's got a great story. He's got a lot to share, a lot to talk about, and Mr. Parsley has been the point man for that. So when all wrestling matters and good people can come alike, and that's certainly credit to Justin Parsley, credit to Joshua Fletcher, the owner of the company, and myself for bringing everybody together, and I'm happy about that. And Justin Parsley would be a great candidate for the Nemesis session. Now, that would be somebody that I'll make sure his fees cover on his behalf, because he would be somebody I would really want to see on your platform, because he's got an interesting story. He's kind of like you in many ways. He's a backyard wrestling veteran, a legend. He's got some interesting stories. He certainly does things his own way, and I would certainly vouch for him. And I think he wants to be a 17-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer to break Ric Flair's championship and John Cena's championship record. So that's what he wants to do. So keep an eye on that. Nicholas Crenson, a man that has been on your show, says happy birthday, buddy. And I just randomly got loud. Did I get randomly loud here, or did I get randomly loud on DBW TV?
You actually are a little bit louder here. I don't know if your just mic just expanded and just got better, but I mean, it's like you're a little bit louder than.
Is it good? I can lower it. Let me see here now. Do I sound lower now? Do I sound low? Still the same? Let me see here. I'll pull it up here. While I do that here, first of all, Nicholas Cranston says, happy birthday, buddy. Want to say hello also to somebody else that actually has welcomed you into the 40s. So this is the first person that's actually formally welcoming you into the 40s, and Mr. Dark Cronin. I guess, did you expect somebody here to actually welcome you into the 40s?
There you go. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it. How is it so far? There you go.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I know that's a guy also that I need. I need to get some of them DKW guys up on the Nemesis.
Oh, you should have Joe Stone would be a fun one for you. If you have Joe Stone on Sportswire with, instead of me here, you're the Nemesis sessions, you got to have Joe Stone on there. You got to have Joe Stone. Matthew Forsaken. And by the way, out there, am I a little lower now?
No.
I'm not. I actually lowered my volume, and I lowered my.
You sound a little echoey, but not in a bad way. You just sound kind of like you're in an arena, but I don't know. It's not bad.
Let me know if you want. I'll change my USB cable when I transition and let James answer a question or two. So let me know, and I'll fix that. Justin Parsley would like to say woo, like Mr. Ric Flair. Okay, fair enough. And while we do that here, I'm actually going to put James Taylor's birthday social media is on the screen. So if you want to follow James, and actually, James, this will give me a good chance to actually pull up a new USB cable, because before I do that, I've actually got something I want to present to you, James Taylor. So I guess I'm going to be able to give me a good ability to actually change cables here. So while I'm going to do that, and before I do that, as a matter of fact, James Taylor, I'm going to present to you. I'm not even going to ask you. You're just going to get it on the screen, because you're actually being recognized, because you're being the first celebrated birthday on Sportswire Radio. Of course, we had to give you a certificate. We had to give you something, and that's what we always do. And I promised you on Monday's show that we would actually present to you something, so hopefully that you'll take this. I've got something else in about 10 minutes I'm going to present to you, so hopefully you would like that as well. But hopefully you appreciate this. I know you've gotten many birthday gifts today. I know all your fans and followers have been certainly wishing you happy birthday left and right, maybe your peers in the sport, but I wanted to formally give you something on the air, because it wouldn't be Sportswire Radio if I didn't give you something.
Okay. Well, I'm open to it.
Nope, that's what we gave you. So obviously we're going to give you some more things.
Yeah,
here.
And that right there, I'm going to get a frame for that. I'm going to frame it up. I'll put it on the back, just along with the Hall of Fame induction one.
Oh, it's very kind of you. It's very kind of you. So I guess I should ask you this, which will give me a good opportunity to fix my voice problem, which a lot of people would love me to permanently fix my voice, but different conversation for a different time. But what do you want to accomplish now in your 40s that you didn't get a chance to accomplish, let's say, in your 30s?
Well, I mean, quite a few things. My wrestling career. I'm not looking to make it big into like WWE, nothing like that. I'm basically transitioning from the civilian world to the full-time content creation world. And I'm also wanting to become and break out in the indies, basically, long story short. And that is the closest to a tease you will get, because that is going to be happening. Just stay tuned to it. But this is going to be a big opportunity tonight for me to do a few things to, whether it be right some wrongs or just mention some names and just talk for a little bit, if you'll allow me to.
Of course, you can. You're James Taylor. You can talk the whole night. I don't have to say anything. We'll never have any problems with my voice because you can talk for the rest of the evening. Do I sound
You,
any
s-
better right now? By the way,
you sound perfect now. You sound back to normal.
there you go. So I fixed the problem. Thank you for letting me know. But what would you like to say then? Obviously, James. Feel free. It's your moment here.
Well, here we are. I'm hitting the big 4-0, and actually, see, my time, it's 9:49. April 25th, 1984, at exactly 11:32 p.m. Central Standard Time in the small town of Temple, Texas. Look it up if you are curious to know. A 9 pound, 8 ounce James Taylor was born, and that was 40 years ago. So I still got about an hour and a half or more before I turn 40 officially. But nonetheless, I want to thank a few people. I got me a little bit of a list right here, and I just want to bring up some stuff. I want to start with let's start with something real simple, and let's start with the Promo Wrestling Federation. My company is just a 2K eFed group. When it comes down to the promo wrestling world, I didn't even know that it was officially a thing. But when we had the big the pandemic happened in 2020, and everybody's sitting at their homes, and then a lot of people started getting on TikTok and looking at things because we're all stuck in our house and we're bored and we're scared to get sick. I come across wrestling content on there and people doing promos, and I decided that I was gonna throw my name in the hat. Just what the hell do I got to lose? I'm just gonna do it for fun. This is what this app is for. So I decided to just shoot a little promo. And a gentleman, a name that I haven't said in a long, long time, you're not really gonna know or understand, but I'm gonna make it real clear, real quick. But a man by the name of Kent Gray had a company that he made through TikTok called the Promo Championship Wrestling, which is PCW. And he saw my promo, he came across my name and invited me to become a part of that. And I just want to thank him. Me and him don't see eye to eye anymore. But for that time being, he got me. It was August 2020. He brought me into the promo wrestling world, and it got me to where I got, in a way, my confidence to where I could just start talking better than what I already was, and feel and live this wrestling world this crazy wrestling world that we're all a part of. Because what was it? I'm thinking that I'm retired in the backyard scene, right? I did it for 10 years, and then I just took a big break. That's why I say on and off for 25 years. It doesn't matter that I haven't been wrestling every single day of my fucking life, period. The fact is, I wrestled for 10 straight years, and I did it every single weekend, rain, snow, tornado weather. It didn't matter. I did all kinds of crazy shit, and I fucking loved it because I eat, sleep, and breathe this business, and it's not just a catchphrase. It's just how I feel in my heart. And everybody listening at home, I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. So I take the break. Years go by. I meet my wife. Everything's happy. I think I'm just laid back, chill. I'm going to work. I do my things, play my games, make my Taft Taylor YouTube channel, and trying to break into the content creation. But then here comes Kent Gray. He brings me in, and it opens my eyes for the wrestling world again. So I start doing promos, and I meet a couple of men along the way. I met a man by the name of Buddha. I met a man by the name of Sarge, Curtis Real, and even Peter Richards. And that's just a few names to throw out there. I want to start with a guy named Curtis Real. Curtis Real was actually the very first person that I ever had a promo battle with. We were supposed to have a match, but unfortunately, that match never happened. But we've had a little bit of a promo rivalry that's been going on for almost 4 years now, on and off. But it is what it is. He's a good guy. He means well. I know he does, but he's one guy that I could say was the first person that I ever called out in the promo wrestling world. Went and I met Peter Richards. Peter Richards came out of nowhere after me, probably a couple of weeks after I did, and he called me out. I was the first person he called out. And in the beginning, me and Peter Richards had we had something there where he could talk his trash to me and I could talk my trash back, and we went back and forth, and we ended up having in that company the rivalry of the year of
Oh wow.
2020.
Okay.
And he got a little plaque for it. He set it up on his thing.
It was very cool.
um, it was interesting. We were awarded that, and that was actually pretty cool to say that. I was superstar of the year for 2020. Everybody was learning to do promos. I'm not gonna lie when I say that I was rusty as hell back then. But breaking back into it, I got my confidence back to keep talking and run my mouth and do what I do. Yes, I sounded like Stone Cold. Everybody always said that since day one, but nobody cared then. Nobody really cared because it was just like, man, this guy can talk. This guy, not so much. But hey, he's learning. Now look at him. He's like one of the best. I met another guy by the name of Lethal Injection. Lethal Injection is a really good friend of mine. He lives in Houston, Texas.
Oh wow.
And he's one guy I haven't had on the Nemesis sessions just yet. It's not that I didn't want him on there or he didn't want to be on there. The guy is a very busy man. He's got his family. He's got 2 kids. He's just all over the place. And for him to squeeze the time he does to do the promos that he does when he does them, it means a lot. And one thing I can take and give that guy, of all people in the promo wrestling world, he has probably been one of 3 people who's been the most loyal to my company. Everybody on these outside promo companies have tried getting him and trying to get other guys like my friend Sarge, who was the very first guest on the Nemesis sessions back in 2021, I believe it was. And on top of that, Skippy the Evil Clown.
You know Skippy. Skippy's been mentioned here. Yep.
Yeah, Skippy's a really good guy, and those men are what I would say are probably the most loyal people that loyal friends that I've ever had in the promo wrestling community. And they've always been there. They never left my side. We even through all the ups and downs and all the fucking bullshit we've ever been through, the guys have always been there, and they always had my back. I always had theirs whenever I could. I know that I'm horrible when it comes to communication, at least back then, and I've been working on it and getting a lot better as the time has gone on. But that's just how I've been my whole life. When you grow up with a single parent and you come up through the ranks and you're by yourself and you have to learn everything on your own, you just I'm gonna do what somebody told me once, and that is literally what my idol, one of his catchphrases is, don't trust anybody. And you know what? I honestly felt that way at that time throughout my whole life, ever since in my adult life. I've never really trusted anybody. But when I saw people like this who were genuine, and no matter through all the bullshit we went through, they were always there. They always reached out to me. They always reached out to me. Not very many people did that. But when they did that, that made me like, you know what? There are some good people in this world. There's very humble people. From then on, we're going to move down the ranks. We're going to start getting into the backyard scene. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. You need
No,
anything to add?
I actually think this is really informative. So I'm loving it. So you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
It's your birthday. You
So,
can say whatever you want. With Sportswire, James. People message me all the time. Say you're the one guy that gets all the time from different people. You're the one guy that gives everybody a fair shot. So James, you can speak for the next half an hour uninterrupted if you want. Go for it.
yeah. Well, I mean, in that promo community, I mean, I had them, and those guys were always loyal. There was another guy that was there that, for the longest, I thought he was super loyal. I consider him a friend, whether he believes it or not, and that would be Peter Richards.
Peter's here, by the way. He wished you a happy birthday, Peter.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Me and Peter, I mean, we talked on the phone quite a bit too, and I mean, I've been on his podcast, he's been on
Yes.
mine. We've had our differences as the time was starting to end towards it, and it is what it is. But
Yeah.
one thing I could say is that he brought out the best in me in the promo world, and I think I kind of brought out the best in him. I don't want to take too much credit for any of it, but nonetheless, when shit was hitting the fan so much between 21 and 22, And that's the years, by the way.
I
Because it was
figured that
almost
because I
21.
followed 2020 is when you started doing the promo stuff.
Yeah.
That it led us into 2021 into 22. So totally get that.
So 21 and 22, there was some shit that was hitting the fan, and not going to go into too detail of it. I might do that in a
Sure.
biography or some type of documentary later on down the line. Who knows if I get that good? But he was always kind of one of the peacemakers when it came to everything. Yeah, there was Sarge. Yeah, there was Buddha. There was Curtis Real, Lethal Injection, Skippy, all them. But Peter was kind of like the peacemaker, and he tried his hardest. And I'm just one stubborn motherfucker. I'll tell you what. And I do not like being confronted. I do not like people trying to get in my face or try and point their finger at me and blame me for something. But one thing, I guess that's where my old age comes into play because I am the big 4-0 now. But in my old age, I've seen a lot of bullshit in my time, in my life so far, and I could smell it a mile away, Tom. I really can, and I've proven that in
Sure.
everything that I do. Whether somebody like Peter or anybody that's
Well, he just
watching
wants
that's
to say,
part of it.
by the way, he just wants to say that it's all under the bridge, and he says he's cool with you. He just wants to put that out there. I'd like to give him that opportunity to say, and also want to say, Jack Spade would like to wish you happy birthday. He's my guest Monday night, so he would like to also say that a man finds his true age in his heart, and the dreams of wrestlers never die. So that's all. God.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't want to put everybody to sleep with this,
No,
so
no, no. I'm loving
I'll push
this.
it a little bit
No,
quicker.
no, no. James, it's your moment. What do I tell everybody? You know, there's no limit, no nothing. On Sportswire, this isn't like anybody else. You want to speak, you have the floor uninterrupted.
Yeah, no, thank you, appreciate it.
Sure.
So, but I have those guys, and that is the promo wrestling world, and it's not weekly like it used to be back in the day because I've always been a perfectionist in everything that I do when it comes to my work, and that's my creative work. And one thing I've always seen my company as a 2K company. It transitioned more from a promo company to strictly 2K, and I went to 2K and give these people that platform to bring their character to life in a video game because they really couldn't go into a backyard or they really couldn't go into the indie or make it in the professional wrestling scene. So I gave them an opportunity to have a character created and give that character a story and put it through the game. That was my vision. And now a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people were doing it before I did it, but they didn't do it as detailed as I did. And I like to say I had a little bit of the credit of what it is
Sure.
today. And I have a lot of joy whenever I do, excuse me, make my shows. But from there, in that promo world around the end of 2020, actually in the middle of 2021, I met Mr. Anthony fucking Steele, the
I
real
heard that
deal.
name before. It sounds very familiar.
Very
I'm not quite sure.
familiar.
Not quite sure where I've heard that name before, but I definitely have heard it somewhere.
So me and him, there's two different things to a promo school or a promo company. The promo wrestling world, to anybody that's not really familiar with it, there's two ways that people do it. I do kayfabe promo wrestling, and then there's another entity called it's basically promo battles where it's kind of like rap battling. You get two individuals who do a promo, and then you get a third person who's supposed to be biased, who will or unbiased or whatever you want to call it, that judges the promos and says who they think was the better one, and that person is declared the winner. Well, the kayfabe world that I come from, it was just like in the wrestling world. It's booked the way it's wrestling. Okay, well, hey, you and Peter are going to have a match tonight, and Peter, you're going to go over. And then next week, we're going to have you and him go at it again, and James, you're going to go over. You know, it's just to keep fairness across the board.
Absolutely. No, I enjoy that.
So I didn't understand the differences between the two at the time, and I met Anthony, and he was in the judged world, and I have a promo battle with him. First time I ever met him, he just seemed like the smart ass that we all hate sometimes. And but his little smart ass self, and he was trying to bring the Diablo after me. And I talked my trash to him, and I believe that I had a lot more to give than what he did because he's green. At least that's the way I saw it. Maybe the old age in me, but I'm thinking, man, I got this kid like nothing. And I talked my shit to him. He talked his trash to me, but I felt like I was throwing a lot more at him. And when it came down to judging, I lost, and I took that personally. It's not the fact that I don't mind about winning or losing. I don't care as long as it makes sense. But I didn't understand how I lost to somebody who didn't, in my eyes at the time, didn't put as much work into it or as much emotion into it. I
Hmm.
didn't understand that. It was nothing against Anthony as a person. And a lot of people that see it nowadays can tell that me and Anthony are real close now. Not
Yep.
super duper close, but
And I think he's
we're
kind of
friends.
won some people. And I think before you go back into that, he's won people over actually in a lot of ways because Anthony, he's a straight shooter. And I think that a lot of people, I know that there's some people that, you're never going to convince people, but I think he does have his heart in the right place. And I think that he loves this sport of wrestling. And Hillbilly Tilly always says it. True wrestlers do it for the love of this sport. And he's done that and he's traveled. And, I think that there are people, whether they want to admit it or not, really have come to respect and like what he has to say. And I think that that's
Yeah.
to me a point. And by the way, before you go any further, Craven Rage, who now has lost the WC Interstate Openweight Championship after nearly being incapacitated by Sean Joby, the resident rock star, somehow he was able to type this in. I don't even know how this man's alive still after what Sean Joby did to him. It says, "Happy birthday to the Hall of Famer, the legendary Mr. Taylor. You're a great legend, and thank you for the advice." So maybe the advice will be how to get back up and return to the ring. But continue, Mr. Taylor.
No problem. So I met Anthony, and we had our differences at the beginning for like maybe a short time. But he, because of who Anthony is, he's kind of like me. He don't want to feel like somebody's really, really that upset. So I mean, he don't care, but at the same time, when he could see a genuine person, I think he saw it. So he reached
Yeah, I
out.
agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
He reached out to me and we talked, and I told him I have nothing against him. I just don't like the judging aspect of it, and I thought it was
Yeah,
bullshit. But that
I
was just
respect that.
me. That was just me. I called it as it was favoritism. Here I am, the stranger coming in, and then I get nothing. But it is what it is. Anyways, so I meet Anthony, and Anthony's like, "Hey, do you wrestle?" And I was like, "I did back in the day." He goes, "Well, I wrestled." He sent me some tapes of what he was doing, and some clips on YouTube. I watched him. I was like, "Okay." And then he sent me one of him versus Atomic Titan from TBW. And I was like, Tennessee back. I'm like, you live in Tennessee? He goes, actually, I live in Illinois. I travel to Tennessee. And I'm like, okay, well, where's that at? Because I live in Alabama. And he told me. And I was like, well, shit, okay. He goes, maybe you should come up here. I was like, well, reach out to him. I mean, I don't know what I would do, but I mean, I'm retired. So he calls me and they make arrangements. And the TBW guys, I'm going to say the name TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, owners Josh Allen and Atomic Titan. And they reached out to me and everything, all the stars aligned. And it was, hey, let's get James Taylor on board. Let him come up here just for this little one off, maybe kind of come out of retirement, have a little altercation with Anthony Steele. Why not? And
Sure.
everything worked out. So I came up there and I met him. He laughed at me because I was so short to him because he's a big 6'4"
Yes,
bastard.
he's a big guy, Anthony. Very big
Yeah.
guy.
But he knew that I could back my shit up. He found that out real quick, and I think I earned his respect. He earned mine. But after that, they were like, "What are you thinking about doing a match before you have a match with Anthony? You think you'd have a match with any of these other guys?" I said, "Why not? What do I got to lose?" So I want to go ahead and give out some thanks in my backyard
Sure,
wrestling career
you.
since 2021. And one guy I'd like to talk about was the very first match I ever had in TBW. My first match in almost it was I had okay, so I had a break from 2010 to 2015. I wrestled two matches in 2015, and then I had a break from 2015. I thought I was retired until 2021. So what was that?
6 years.
6 years. So six
Yeah.
years. I mean, if you really wanted to get technical, 11 years almost because I only
Yeah,
had
it's
those
only
two
the two
matches.
matches in 15. Yeah.
Yeah, so I come out of 11-year retirement, and Manny Cobra wanted to be the first guy to break me back in.
I've
And
interviewed Manny Cobra. I happen to be a good friend of Manny Cobra's.
Manny Cobra is he's a real nice guy. He's
Very
real
nice guy.
quiet, but he helped me out. I'm gonna give him that. And I did what I could to make him look strong. He did what he could to make me look strong. So Manny Cobra, if you're watching this, I respect you, and I know that he wants a rematch one day. Hey, never say never. You never know. Anything could happen. I don't know. I can't tell the future right now. All I can do is just do what I'm doing. But
Sure.
he's the first guy I want to say thank you to. So, Manny Cobra, thank you very much. If you're out there and you're listening to this, I appreciate you for what you did for helping me find my confidence to get back in the ring. Yes, Anthony had that part in it, but to have my first official match back was with Manny Cobra. And then match number two, I was going into this match, and despite the differences, match number two, I was going into this match before Anthony thinking that I was going to lose, and then at the last minute, the politics and everything changed it at the last minute. But it was me versus Gage Flair, and Gage, I was excited to work with him because he was.
He's Gage Flair.
If I'm a Stone Cold knockoff, he's a Ric Flair knockoff.
Yep.
It was Stone Cold versus Ric Flair, and we got to live it and have fun with it in a backyard wrestling ring, and it was just what it is. And I had a blast. He actually brought out the best in me in my second match, and I felt more confident after that one. Did I blow up in it? Yeah, I did. I tried to finish it early, but it was still fun nonetheless. We got through it, and it was a banger. If you haven't seen that match, go watch it.
I think I've seen it before. I've seen it before. We spoke about it. I'm almost certain it's somewhere on the Sportswire lore. So sure.
Yeah, so I will be uploading that eventually. I'm working on rebuilding my matches and putting them back with commentary, all that good shit.
Oh, I
Okay,
love that stuff. You know that.
so and let's go to another guy, Russell Cooper, who is the current TBW World's Heavyweight Champion.
Absolutely.
Russell Cooper. The one thing I got to give to him, despite our differences as well, he was always probably the most eager guy I ever met. And when it comes to getting in the ring and training, because one thing I do, and anybody that's seen me in TBW and that's worked with me in Resurrection knows that when I show up, the first thing I like to do is hit that ring. I like to hit them ropes, take like as many
And
bumps as
that's
I
what a
can,
lot of the
and get
British
warmed
guys
up.
tell me. I'm glad you said that because the British guys that come on, and we just had Radu Bulat, a legendary deathmatch and hardcore guy from the UK, always says the same thing. And a lot of the guys, Tribal Cheese, has said you got to get there early. Wildfire Nate Reese, when he was here in the past, RP Davis, all the guys that are out there, that's what you're supposed to do. So I'm glad you said that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true. It's a true fact. Well, if I went up there to ROEW, if I went up there to IMF, if I went to any other company,
Triple W?
DPW, I'm just saying in general, that's way you know ahead of time. If I showed up, Triple W, I don't care.
All
If there's a
right, there
ring,
you go.
if there's a ring, and you have James Taylor booked for a show, the first thing I'm going to tell you, whoever it is that owns it, I'm like, you need to let me get in that ring and knock the rust off. Because one thing I like to do is do that. But going back to what I was talking about with Russell Cooper, he would see me get in there, and no matter how tired or beat up he was, or if he just showed up too, he's not the sharpest bastard in the ring.
I'm aware. I don't want to say on the air. I've had some
I know
conversations with him. I've had some conversations with him. Let me just put it that
he's
way.
very controversial, and he speaks his mind. I get that
I'm
he's
going to be
supposed to be a
honest.
champion
I'm
now.
going to be honest. He said a few things that he got a receipt on. Let me just say it that way. He said something. I am going to say something. He said something that he tried to say that I did, and basically, if I could put it in vocal words, he got punched right in the mouth afterwards, and he basically hasn't spoken to me since. So that's all. Just put it out there.
With all due respect, there you go. I mean, it is what it is. He needs to learn. Some people need to learn to keep their mouth shut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And mind their business. But I got to give him a little credit, though, Tom. He would be one of the first people who would be like, I'll be your dummy. Slam me around, throw me. I don't care. He goes, I want to learn. I gave him an angle slam because he was thinking, I was always thinking about doing an angle slam. I gave him an angle slam. I gave him a Samoan drop. I body slammed the fuck out of him. I suplexed him. He wanted me to give him stunners left and right. But I mean, he wanted to try so many different things, and I got to give him a little bit of credit where credit's due. And has
Absolutely.
one guy. I can't respect anybody any more than somebody who would want to get in the ring with me and practice before a match.
Well, he's a
And he
phenomenal
was one of those.
talent. He started from a referee, from being a referee to the world champion. I mean, I
Yeah,
take nothing away from his ability. There's no question about
right,
that. I agree with you.
right. From there, one of Joshua Allen's brother, Andrew Clay.
Yes.
Um, he's a real humble dude. He's real quiet. He don't like confrontations. He don't like drama, and he's got a lot of my respect when it comes to that. And one guy from TBW that's always respected me and been very not loyal, but like he reaches out every now and then. Is Andrew Clay, and Andrew Clay. Some people don't give him a whole lot of credit, but I'm going to give him some. And he's passionate about it. He's not always 100% when it comes to being in the wrestling world or in the wrestling ring, but as a human being, he's a likable guy. He's a real
That's fair.
respectable. So I definitely give it to him. Um, Going to his brother Joshua Allen. Josh Allen has always been a stand-up dude to me.
I
He's always
like
been
Josh.
respectable.
Josh has worked with us really well over the past year, and I've always had great conversations with Josh, and I can't say anything other than I love the guy, to be honest.
Yeah, he's basically the Jim Ross to my Stone Cold. I mean, because one thing he has brought my matches to life with his commentary. He has set up
Yes, his commentary is fantastic. Yes, I agree
everybody
with you on
loves
that.
it. Everybody loves it, whether they want to knock on him for sounding like Jim Ross or whatever. But I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, he finds that and he digs it out. And he's so good when he does in his own way,
Yep,
especially for the Southern backyard wrestling stuff. And he
sure,
made a lot. He made all my matches feel more real and authentic, and brought the storytelling to it. That's what I love
absolutely.
about him. He was always respectable to me, and number one. And anybody will win me over if you're ultimately respectable to my wife when she shows up, because she shows up everywhere that I go. And
That's very nice.
if you show her the utmost respect, then you're gonna win me over. I promise you
Very
that.
nice.
He was really good at doing that, and so was a guy like the Prophet Jay Wild.
Yes.
But before I get to him, there was another guy, and there was Atomic Titan. I don't like Titan a whole lot, and I do like him a lot. Um, Titan, the character is an annoying, self-centered, egotistical son of a bitch, and he needs to get his face slapped so many times. Trust me. But
Well, Alan Michaels
um,
is trying that tonight on episode 160, so let me just put it that way.
I believe every time I did show up, though, he was another one of those guys. Not all the time, but most of the time, he would get in the ring and want me to show him stuff and want to train with me a little bit.
Okay.
I'll give Titan that. He's really he can be soft spoken in real life, but when he gets into his character mode, he's doing a lot better. I'm trying to be humble and sound professional on all this, and
Okay.
keep all the drama aside, because I don't want drama anymore. Here I am just saying whatever, right, Tyler? But
Everybody's expecting you, James, to say something on your birthday. Everybody's expecting something, I don't know, but
well, I'm showing the professional that I am, and giving credit where credit is due.
sure.
Despite the differences, despite what I feel, despite what anybody thinks of me, I don't care anymore.
Well, there
But
was a lot of good times there, though.
oh yes,
There was a lot of good times. I covered you when you were still in the company, and there was a lot of good times that you had there. You always, the old adage is always remember the good, and there was a lot of good there. So,
yeah.
look at it that way.
So I had my match with Anthony in
Yes.
TBW, and that was hardcore, and it was great. It was a good
We
match. It was
watched it
done.
here, and I did commentary, and we had fun with it. Yes.
So that you watched it, everybody watched it, yes. And a lot of people say that's one of their favorite matches of mine and his is that very first match. Well, after that match, after Anthony had left the company, I was still working with them, and I had my match with Atomic Titan. And the credit I want to give to him is I actually had the most fun having that match with him. For some reason, it was just I had a blast in that whole matchup. If you watch it and go back and watch it, the match itself, it started out really explosive with
Yep.
me, like I
Hmm.
always am, because I'm an explosive guy in the ring sometimes. But I felt that I carried him and helped him evolve a little bit better, and made him. I did everything I could to make him look like $1 million, and we went out there and we stole the show that night. It was really good. And then fast forward a year later, I faced a guy by the name of Max Chaos.
Yes.
Me and Max, for a very, actually for almost one day, and that was the day that I wrestled him. We were on the same page and we respected each other. But beforehand and afterhand, especially now, you know,
We
I
saw what
might hate to
happened when
say it.
Anthony was here a couple months ago. Yes, we
Yeah,
that was a big thing.
I'll leave it
For
at that.
sure. Yep.
I went out there
Good
and I
call.
did what I could. And I actually, and that's what that match was rated from
Yes.
Cougar.
Yeah, yeah. We watched it here on Monday's show. Yes.
Yeah,
In
and
TW.
But if you watch that entire match, you really watch it, you can see the
That was
story
your
from
second
now.
to last match in TBW.
Yeah, that was a match that I gave my probably one of my best performances because I was actually just selling for the kid the entire time, and I was making him look the best that he's ever looked. And from then, people were applauding like, man, and they respected me for it because I did what I could to make him look good. And I do that for anybody that I get in the ring with. I did it for the Prophet, and that's being my last guy in TBW is the Prophet Jay Wild. He's um he's a busy guy, but he's always been nice to me and respected my wife, and he's one guy that I would like to consider a friend in the backyard wrestling community. Not to try and break too much kayfabe, but I mean he is a really reliable and trustworthy person in the
And
ring.
I want to back you up on that. And I don't want to say who, but I obviously speak to a lot of people like you do. And the consensus has always been when his name comes up, always everybody has a lot of good things to say about him on who he is outside the ring. So I
Right.
can back you up on that.
I talk to him every few weeks or so on the phone, and everything's good between us. And would we
Good.
like to have that third rubber match? Yes. Will it happen? I don't know, but no matter what, every time I got in the ring with him, he definitely this past year brought out the ultimate best in me, and
And
I
you helped
feel
him
like
too because he's right now in a maybe the biggest storyline in the company right now. So
exactly I put him over in that match. He broke my undefeated record that I had no part of, but I mean it was still the fact that
you were
I had the
TBW's
choice. I
you were
was given the
TBW
choice.
Sting. That's what you were. You were TBW
Yeah.
Sting.
Exactly. I was given the choice. I was given the choice. Who would you want to break your streak? And I said him because I wanted to work with him. That was the only reason why I went back in the first place last year was to go work with him. And I owed him that match, and he wanted it, and we tore the place down 3 different times. So, well, mainly 2 times. There was that third match that was a no contest, but um, from there, there was the PWF that you own now, that you partly own PWF with
Yes.
you and Omen Black and all them.
And
And
Dalton
I
Star
had,
also owns a portion of that as well. Man, you've given a son to. Yes.
yeah, so I had 2 matches in there. One guy, talk a little bit about J.R. Ford. I know he's doing other stuff right now, but he was super duper green. And I did what I could to help him in that match. But it was what it was, but I respect him at the same time. Hope he's doing all right out there wherever he is. And another guy who's it's controversial, but at the same time, it is what it is. Mr. Jack Delta.
I knew you.
Uh,
I was waiting for his name to be mentioned. I was like, is James Taylor not going to mention him on his birthday? He, after all, had a match that I spoke about. Well, I remember when Jack came on, which was right around a year ago at this time. I think you guys had the match maybe, I want to say, what, in June or something like that. And it was like a dream match. It was to me like that was the match that I was really hoping to see, and we saw it, and that's where it did. And I wish that we could have got more of a little bit of maybe a future storyline there with like how you and Jay Wild and Anthony. But alas, it's what it is, pretty much.
it is what it is. It was a match that was thrown together like
Yep.
just in the blink of an eye, and I think that's why in my eyes it kind of stinked the place out. But at the same time, it
I thought it
wasn't
was a good
bad.
match,
It
though. I
wasn't that
liked the
bad.
match. I thought the match
Yeah,
was not a bad match at all.
it was one of the shorter matches. Like, okay, so short matches are one thing, but with a guy like Jack Delta and his name, and then you get a guy like me with my
Your
name,
name and your following, and
I was thinking, we would have more of like a 19-20 minute match,
I knew
I'm
you were
thinking,
going to say that. I was thinking in my head, 20 minutes was like
yeah,
that's the
and
magic
I
number.
would have, I think we could have killed it that way doing that. And I mean, it would have
Politics,
been a big,
politics,
big match, but
politics.
yeah, politics, and it is what it is. And I got hot and pissed off about a lot of things, and I kind of blamed him for some stuff. And I know that he didn't care, and he laughed at me about it. But you know what? It's under the bridge, and it's in the rearview mirror now. It's under my belt. It's under his belt. He
And
got the
Jack's now in
victory.
different places. He's in VTW now, and
Yeah.
he's kind of
Um.
moved away from like the TBW and XCW land. So that
Right.
shows you.
And I'm not saying I regret the match at all. I mean, I've watched it a couple of times now
We
since
watched
I've
it
really
here.
enjoyed
We
it.
watched it here.
We,
Yep.
yep. And I mean, it wasn't as bad as I made it out to be. I guess it was just because I was so pissed at the situation and
Because
everything
you
that had
wanted
happened.
more from it.
Um,
We thought it could have been more. That's what it is. And that's totally understandable. You're not wrong. Because I wanted to see
so
more, honestly.
yeah, yeah, and I want to have the best match whenever I'm on any card, and
Absolutely.
it's call it selfish, but it's because I want everybody to talk about not just me, not to gloat too much, but I want them to talk about the match I had with whoever I was in the ring with.
Right.
I want them to look the absolute best, and for me to look the best for them, and
Sure.
to be the safest worker. And one thing I get a lot of props for is that I've never hurt nobody, and I've been super safe. And I take care of anybody I get in the ring with, and if you don't know what you're doing, I mean, if there's something I don't know what I'm doing and I forget something, I hope that the guy is going to lead me and say, hey, let's do this. Okay, great, and we'll go with it. And trust me, I'll be on board right then. But Jack, I'm gonna be the man that I am and say I respect you whether you're watching this or not, and you keep doing what you're doing. Um, I don't care about the past anymore. I'm glad I got to have the match I did have with you, and if we could ever tie it up once again, who knows? If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But nonetheless, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll see you down the road. And then from there, Resurrection Wrestling. We had a match. I had that we're about to wrap this up. I had a match with Mr. Cameron Cage. Cameron Cage was another one of those. In a way, I really like him. A really
Oh,
good
I
guy.
had him on here, and
Um,
I'm a fan of him personally. Another guy that's an up and comer. He's an up and comer that, if he keeps going, he could be in a couple places in a couple years.
right. Cameron Cage was one of those guys. It was a match that was kind of thrown together last second, also, but we ran it down, and I got maybe 5 minutes in the ring with him before the show went live, so I didn't get a whole lot of chance to work with him. And we went out there ad lib and just did what we could, and it ended up being okay. It ended up being a pretty good match. From what I understand, I earned his respect, and he earned
Spoke
mine.
about it here. We spoke about it here.
Would I like to tie it up with him again and have an actual storyline with him? Hell yeah, I would. Would I wrestle him any other day of the week? Yes, I would, because he was real safe to me. He took care of me. He showed my wife respect. I know I keep saying that, but that is really a big thing with anywhere that I go.
Sure.
And I can't stress it enough. And, if you're wanting me on your show, if you make her feel comfortable and she's happy, then I'm happy. But he was a really good guy. And Cameron, if you're still here, respect to you, kid. And people make fun of me for the kid thing, but it's funny. I guess it's just because I'm old, but
Wow.
that is what it is. Would I like to wrestle him again? Yes, Cameron, great guy. Totally would recommend wrestling him with anybody. If anybody ever wants to know about Cameron Cage, look up the match that he had
Oh,
with me.
I tell you what, he's a
I mean,
guy that I think very highly of for sure. He's a guy I have said it many times on this platform. One of those guys in Resurrection. I mean, D'Angelo is obviously on everybody's list. Draco Dragon, Jack Spade is another up and comer emerging talent. He's going to be here Monday, but I think Cameron Cage has absolutely earned it. And of course, Dustin Alexander, who's got really maybe some of the biggest wins that anybody could ever have in their resume. So for sure, I couldn't agree with you more on Cameron Cage.
and I saw Moon Bunny's little thing, the big 4-0. So don't worry about any toxic mofo. Happy birthday. Thank you, Moon Bunny.
Thank
And
you.
then,
We may know who you are, and thank you
yeah,
for tuning in. Certainly, your endorsement might be the most important endorsement. Just leaving
oh,
it that
yeah.
way.
There we go. Anthony Steele, the last one on the big list, and that's the fact that I wrestled him once, I wrestled him twice. Third time, I'm really hoping that it's going to happen really soon, at least this year. We gotta finish the storyline. Probably the whole reason that I came back into backyard wrestling, and maybe he's going to be the reason that I leave backyard wrestling. Tom, will I leave it forever? I don't know. But am I done with the wrestling world? Period. No, because I've got a lot more left in me, and I got a lot more to prove to the world and to you, to everybody that's watching, to
Well, you
everybody
don't
that's
got to prove anything to me.
real life.
You do not have to prove anything to me. The only person before I get to comments that you need to prove anything to is yourself. You don't owe me nothing. You owe nobody in wrestling nothing. First of all, I'll let you finish if you'd like, but I never walked in your shoes. I have no right, just like any wrestler, I have no right to judge any wrestler because I haven't been in your shoes or anybody other of the wrestlers that come on here. So at the end of the day, you owe nobody nothing. If you want to come back out there and do some things, it's only you who you owe to. So I would put that out there. So you can go ahead.
Well, thank you. Well, Anthony, I owe a lot too for bringing me back into the wrestling world. As controversial as he is, and loud as he is, and all that shit. He's a good friend.
I can see that. No, listen, I think that Anthony, I think he's misunderstood because I think that Anthony really does care for wrestling, and I think that he reminds me in some ways of a younger Tribal Cheese. I mean, you'd say, wow, you really said it. In that the Tribal Cheese actually, he says a lot of the things that Anthony does, but he does it in a way that's different because, well, he's a lot more mature. He's also older, let me put it that way. So he knows his way around things. He's also been a veteran independent wrestler. He's also been in the military. He was a shoot fighter. So his life experiences tend to lead him the way he says things different than Anthony does, but it's a very similar point. So Anthony, to me, I think, the wrestling world, I think, benefits from.
Right. And that you're spot on with that. The third match, whenever we have it, I think is going to be the ultimate banger because that's going to be. I'm gonna bring out that.
Well, I've been talking about it for months, so hopefully it will be fun.
And I know a lot of people want to see it. I want to go off and finish it off with. Okay, let's talk about these guys I haven't worked with, but guys that I would like to work with, and that would be let's just three specific companies. ROEW, the ROEW guys, Mr. Jason Storm, there's the Jacob Collins.
Storm's here Saturday night, by the way. He's joining you in the Hall of Fame, so I'm going to mention you. He's here, 9 o'clock Saturday night.
There you go. C-Money.
C-Money, love C-Money.
Yeah, C-Money and Mr. Black himself, Mr. CJ.
Yes, and he wants to say that he better get some thanks from you too. 7 thanks. 1 for each of my 7 stars I entertain you with. So he wants 7 thanks.
Well, he needs to go out for a walk, you bitch. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
CJ Black, though, would be a damn sure guy that I'd like to step into the ring with and tie up with, walk up with, and see how it goes. I think we could put on a hell of a match. Jason Storm looks very explosive for a guy who, he looks like he's a big Mr. Clean now, but the guy, he does put out the work. And you could tell that he would be pretty good in the ring, and I would like to have a banger with him. And then Mr. C-Money, I think he's like the brother or something like that.
He's the brother of CJ Black, and he actually reminds me all the time that I need to mention him more. So, yes, C-Money, please mention C-Money.
Well, then there you go. Maybe his contract's up, so who knows where he's going to go, right?
Well, I mean, if he wants, I do own a portion of the Promo Wrestling Federation. I probably am the one that really has the deep pockets. So, I mean, just saying.
The Pride Wrestling Federation.
The Pride Wrestling Federation. Thank you very much for reminding me. Thank you.
There's that, and I'd like to have matches with all those guys. And if there's anybody that I didn't mention in that company, I'm sorry, but hey, it is what it is. The DKW guys, Mr. Dark Kron is the main one. I know that he's a fan of me, and I'm a fan of him.
Yes, I love Dark Kron. Dark Kron is he's to me one of the nicest people, and I've been doing this 5+ years. One of the nicest people I've ever met. Generally and genuinely, I root for that man. I just want to put it out there. I root for that man.
Definitely. He's a real likable and respectable guy. I can tell. And I think me and him would have a badass match as well. I would
love to see it.
I wouldn't even mind tag teaming with that guy.
Well, his brother and him are the IMF Tag Team Champions, so you might have to wait for that.
You never know. But I think me and him could kill it. It'd be awesome.
Well, he's going to be here 2 weeks from now in your chair in 2 weeks, so we'll see.
Maybe I don't know if he's going to be specifically in my chair, Tom. But
well, that's true. I always like to say it to somebody's chair because I always look at the chair across from me. So hey.
Oh, I know. And one of these days, Tom, we're going to get it to where you have an interview face to face with somebody, and I think I'm gonna try and be the first person that did that.
No, you know what?
So
It's funny. That's an interesting conversation. I actually tried that with a couple of. I met a couple of the British guys that I interviewed, and I was like, "Do you want to do an interview like in the street?" And they were like, one of them. I don't want to say his name. He was like, "No." The other one was the LWF champion Reynaldo. All I could do was get like 5 minutes with him. We did a couple videos, but that's here nor there. But you never know. Never say never. But obviously, yes, DKW definitely love.
there you go.
And there's one more
uh,
company that you wanted to mention. You said three.
okay, yeah, and then the IMF guys, Mr. Omen
Where
Black,
are you begin with them?
Omen Black and Soldier GP, Omen Soldier GP. Yeah, I'd like to have a match with both of those guys. What?
The two men that you might be responsible for, some may say. You put them on your show a long time ago.
I did, and you know what? I'm glad you said that. And I didn't say that, Tom. They
Oh, I'm
don't
going
want
to
to
hear
give no
about this one
credit.
tomorrow. I'm
They
going to
don't
hear
want to
about this
give.
one.
I feel like they don't want to give no credit where credit's due, and it is what it is. But I found them, amazing little 300, 400 subscribers that they had, and I liked their product. And I reached out to them personally and invited them onto my
I
show.
remember. I watched it. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. You don't even know this. I remember when you had them on because I don't want to say who, but you'll probably know maybe off the air. But there was a certain promoter. It was like, I want you to cover the IMF. I want you to bring them on. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. And then I think you had him on. And like a month later, well, Omen basically interrupted Craven Rage. And, the rest is history, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And so, anyways, I bring them on. I gave them the exposure, and then we went from there, and it was great. And now all of a sudden they started going up a little bit, and they're starting to gain traction and all that stuff. So I like to say I had a little bit of a part
Hey,
in
man, you know what? They're not
making
even a back. You listen. They're not even a backyard company. Omen has his own show with Anthony. They host together Inside the Ropes. I'm going to be on it next Sunday. I have no idea why, but I'm going to be on it. But no, they've really gone out. They've built their own company. They have sold out venues. They've built a roster from people from all over the Midwest, and they've got some really good talent. Some talent they've built, some other talent that have come in from the independents, and they're a great mix. I got to be honest that they're a company. Leave aside my bias, they're a company that I cover a lot of independent wrestling overseas, and I think they blow a lot of the companies that I cover out of the water, to tell you the truth, from the pro wrestling side. And, they've really done the work, and nobody can deny what those guys have done. They've put the miles in, they've traveled, whether it was to XCW, ROEW, WCE, and, they've been DKW, and they've really gone out there and they put the work in.
exactly. And well, I mean, that's basically it, Tom.
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted so
Well, now I'm going
all
to
of
run
you
through some
guys that
comments
I
then.
mentioned, thank you very much for everything that you have done for me
Now,
and being a part of my career. And
Now, as I see all the numbers perk up now, I think people now, they see the numbers are coming in. So, first of all, let me get to somebody that I would like to actually bring on and wish you a happy birthday on behalf. And he's not going to come on the video, but obviously, a man I wish you would have thanked from the IMF. Man, it was undefeated in the IMF. I mean, hopefully you have on your show sometime. Mr. Luz Cannon wishes you a happy birthday.
that's so funny.
He wished you happy birthday. Yeah, Luz Cannon, he's undefeated in the IMF 2-0.
He is. You know what, Loose Cannon? Your match in IMF was probably one of my favorite matches.
It's actually one of the most viewed ones. It's like 17 or 1,800 views. It's crazy, right? Luz Cannon got that many views.
Go check that out. That match was a banger. All right.
I'd actually, before I get to Mr. Steele, I want to actually give a big wish and shout out to actually a company that I do a lot of work with, and I really need to recognize them more because they've also built a really nice following. They're from the great state of North Dakota. They are legendary backyard wrestling, and somebody you have to get on your show, the proprietor of that company, Mr. CJ Junt, the Alpha CJ Junt. He would like to wish you happy birthday on behalf of his company. It's a company you should really, bring CJ Junt on. He's a great talker. He's got a great story, great background. Don't hold it against him. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan. But obviously, a great guy. I do some work with this company. As a matter of fact, I want to give him a big shout out because in Legendary Backyard Wrestling a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you saw this on Instagram because it was all the talk on Instagram and Facebook. One of the wrestlers of Legendary Backyard Wrestling got beat up on Sportswire Radio with Psychotic Freak. He got beat up. He was, oh my God, it was like he was just.
All about?
Well, he said a couple different things that he probably shouldn't have said, and you know how it goes in this sport of wrestling. All wrestling matters, but obviously all words matter to those. And what wound up happening was obviously the Psychotic Freak got his uppings from Nate Dogg, who's obviously the current interstate champion. He's the interstate champion, one half of the tag team champions there in LBYW, and Psychotic Freak certainly, he got a psychotic-like beating. But yes, that would actually happen on the air. But I want to give a big shout-out to Legendary Backyard Wrestling, and maybe you'll bring CJ Junt on the Nemesis Sessions because he's a great talker. Also, Loose Cannon wants to say, I don't think that, but happy birthday, big guy. Want to give a big shout-out to one of the men that you also mentioned, C-Money. C-Money is here. Now it's a party. Happy birthday, Mr. Taylor. I have to get C-Money on Sportswire one day. Also, let me come back to some more people. Nicholas Crenson would like to also say, another Hall of Famer, the Popcast Intergalactic Champion interviewing the Popcast World Champion on the World Champion's 40th birthday. This is great. Basically what he's saying is Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, in case you don't know, he has Jovi's vlog, and he does basically a 2K Popcast where he's created characters, and you have a character, I have a character, and obviously you're his company's world champion, and obviously Nicholas Crenson wants to remind you of that, and maybe you'll bring back Sean Jovi on again, and you'll talk about that. Now he's the Interstate Openweight Champion again, so thank you, Nicholas Crenson, for reminding you about that. Nicholas Crenson also had his own challenge at WC's Return to the Ring, Dead or Alive. Go check it out. I just checked it out. You should too. Mr. Dark Crown would like to say, mad respect to Josh Allen. You can tell he loves the sport. Yes, you can say anything you want about anybody, but what you should say is that Josh Allen loves the sport of wrestling, and he is about all wrestling matters. Although Dark Crown wants to say, I still want to introduce the Atomic Turd to a real hardcore match. But he's, still the hardcore champion of TBW. Jack Spade also wants to remind you about the resurrection match you had afterwards. I heard Jinx didn't like you interrupting the dance battle. Remember the dance battle? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was a fun time. And those two guys, well, they invited me in, and then they provoked me. So that's why I kicked him in the gut and dropped him on the chin. And the other guy scared me when he was behind me. That's why I stunned him, Spooderman or whatever his name was. So I apologize.
Spooderman sounds like a Soundgarden song.
I get startled easily.
And remember, never trust a nemesis. Remember, they always said, never trust a nemesis. So,
exactly.
Spike from Buffy reference. I caught that, sir. Yes, to you. CJ Black and Steve Money are awesome individuals. Would love to work with both of them. Yeah, I think CJ Black is on a lot of people's list for sure. And I think that James has him on his list, and I think a lot of people rightly should have both those individuals on, especially after the match they put out there at IMF King of the Center a couple months ago. That they opened the show up, by the way, and did a phenomenal job. Thank you, guys. I appreciate both of you. Thank you for the kind words. And, of course, it wouldn't be a birthday shout-out without the man, Anthony Steele, who says, happy birthday. Just simply put, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yep, happy. Also, Mr. Alpha Junt, CJ the Alpha Junt, would like to say to you and to yours truly, appreciate the kind words. Mr. Taylor, enjoy your birthday, and we could talk about an interview for the future if interested, sir. You definitely should bring him on. He's a great talker, by the way. He was on Ace Reed's podcast. His company has, I think, like 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. They have done a lot of great things. They're kind of a mom and pop story where they've gotten their family involved and many of their friends, and they've really, done it for the right reasons. And I really like to support those that go about it because they love the sport of wrestling. And his company has done a great job with that. And we have another guest from their company coming on here in a few weeks from now. Scary Terry. That's right. The name Scary Terry is going to be on Sportswire Radio In 12 days from now, Tuesday, May 7th, mark your calendar. Scary Terry is coming to Sportswire Radio. So thank you for that legendary backup wrestling here, James. I did actually want to present to you something else because obviously I have to give you something else because I wanted to actually do that. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to put this up here on the screen for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. So let me pull this up here because it should now come up. Let me put to share my screen while we have a little more time here. So this should come up right about, there we go. The magic of technology. So here we go. Now it's going to pop up. No, you're not looking at my email here. This is going to pop up right now. There you go. So let me make this screen a little bigger. This should come up. So James Taylor, I created a little collage for you. Hopefully now my slow into, there you go. So, James, I hope you got a chance to see that. I created a nice little collage for you there with my artwork, with my imagery, and I hope that you appreciate it when we send it to you after the show. So, celebrating the Nemesis, happy birthday, James Taylor. We have a nice little photo with you. I created a little sketch in the background, my logo. So, when you say, I'm really sick of coming on Sportswire, you'll at least know that I did wish you happy birthday and gave you something. So, I always like to learn from those that gave me the opportunity. They always said, somebody's birthday, you at least recognize them. So I did that, James. So when you think about Tom, you went too far. I don't want to come back on Sportswire. You'll at least have some mementos from me. So there you go, James. But there you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That means a lot. I appreciate that a lot. That's really cool. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And obviously, if you want to follow James, you can do that here on all of his platforms. You can also check out this nice little banner that I gave him for his birthday. And also, I'll be back here with more coverage coming up here. Obviously, tomorrow, I'll be on the air with a regular Sportswire Radio show. But Saturday night, 9 o'clock, the now Cyclone Jason Storm is going to be here. And Sunday night, apparently, James Taylor, I can't say yet for sure, but there's going to be a major guest coming on to Sportswire Radio. As a matter of fact, you know this guest, but I can't tell you exactly yet who it is because I have been sworn to still secrecy on this guest. But when this guest is revealed, Saturday night live on Sportswire Radio, this will be one that, I can assure you that it'll be one that a lot of people will tune into. It's all I can say. Maybe I can fill you in off the air, but I can assure you that when this individual makes his debut to Sportswire Radio, it will be one that a lot of people will certainly tune into, whether they admit it or not. So that's all I can say to Mr. Taylor. But you definitely know this man. You know him. You definitely know him. So
I have a feeling I know who it is too. So.
Oh, well. You may not know, but you certainly know the individual. But I can't tell you who the individual is. So it could be anybody. I mean, listen, it could be Shane Davidson for Armageddon. Shane Davidson.
It could, but he's been on the show. It's not his debut.
Well, he's changed his name a few times, so I mean, maybe he changed.
Yeah, I know, right? Have I shared the ring with this guy?
Stay tuned.
I can't say. No, have you?
Well, in this particular case, I don't want to lie under oath because I'm a notary in real life, so I really took that promise. But obviously, that's here nor there. But we're here for a little while longer with the legendary James Taylor. And James, is there anything you want to say? Anything else? Obviously, this is the big day, the 40th birthday. And again, if you're out here live, you want to say something to James, feel free to drop a line in the chat if you want to drop by in the video. And also, if you're on Sportswire Radio, make sure you hit that sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 6579. You can also follow James Taylor on YouTube. I'm going to make sure you do that right now because I have James Taylor's YouTube channel up right in front of me. So make sure you support Taft Taylor. You got his page here. Make sure you check him out. 40,000 and a half subscribers on YouTube, nearly 80,000 on TikTok and Instagram combined. Support this man. Yes, he really is as good looking as he is in that photo. And yes, he really talks as well as he does here live on his PWF shows, Promo Wrestling Federation. And obviously, there's James Taylor and, certainly doing different things. But I'm going to certainly leave some of that stuff out there because we're a family show on Sportswire Radio. But get the point. Follow James Taylor if you haven't yet. Hit that sub button for him. He's also done a lot of great things with Resident Evil. Can't forget those legendary Resident Evil games. You know, everybody went Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all those figures you got in the background. So James Taylor has done it all. He is the host of the Nemesis Sessions. He is the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation. He is also the first member of our fifth class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He has once upon a time defeated Anthony Steele. He has been in the ring with Atomic Titan. He's been in the ring with Cameron Cage, Jack Delta, many friends of Sportswire Radio. So make sure you celebrate James Taylor by hitting the sub buttons here. And Jack Spade would like to ask you specifically, when we gonna see the Nemesis get defeated by the Icon?
I don't know who the Icon is.
And speaking of people that would actually like to give you a happy birthday, after successfully defeating a fellow Hall of Famer, a man that you also shared a locker room with, and the trendsetter, Alan Michaels, successfully defeating him after he did not want to be on his show at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling Rampage 160, the hardcore champion, the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history, Mr. Atomic Titan wants to say, hope the birthday was mid 1 year closer to the retirement home. That's what you like to say. So he was, but he wants to.
I give him a little bit of props, and that's how he repays me. That's fine, though.
Well, he's going to say he defeated Alan Michaels, although Ref Carter
never defeated me.
That may be so. That may be so. But he did defeat Alan Michaels, even though Ref Carter didn't see that Alan Michaels' foot was on the ropes. But alas, certainly Josh Allen seems to be getting fed up with Atomic Titan, if you were following out there like I was on TBW Rampage 160. But Mr. Titan would like to be here and wish you a happy birthday. I suppose is this a happy birthday, you think, or maybe not so much a happy birthday?
Yeah, it's a happy birthday. Hey, on the YouTube, type in case you've never seen it, type in, if you wouldn't mind, for just like
whatever you want. You're James Taylor. Sure, go for it.
That bar where you put Taft Taylor, type in Promo Wrestling Federation, and let all the good people at home see that company. And you are more than welcome, anybody who's watching, to subscribe to it and come.
I'm subscribed to it, James Taylor, because I control the YouTube channel at the Pride Wrestling Federation that Mr. Titan once upon a time owned, and now I own a portion of it. So yes, we're right here. Yes.
There you go. So there's the Promo Wrestling Federation. If anybody gets bored and wants to check that out, you're more than welcome to. It's a 2K company, and we put promos and all that stuff on there. We got all kinds of cool little gadgets and everything. Yeah, there it is.
Join the movement. Go out there and hit that sub button, and hit that sub button also to Taft Taylor. Make sure you support him and support all things related to all wrestling matters. And by the way, you did mention TBW. I have to mention today is actually the 7-year anniversary of the debut of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. James Taylor, the irony of you were born today on April 25th, 1984, and Tennessee Backyard Wrestling was actually born on April the 25th, 2017. So that's just kind of an interesting point there. So happy birthday to both of you, I suppose.
There it is. There you go.
Happy birthday to TBW, and happy birthday to James Taylor. And I know I'll have more TBW coverage ahead, but obviously that's here nor there for James Taylor and TBW. But I will take this button off the screen for now and get ready to move on here. But is there anything else you'd like to say on this monumental day where you've turned the big 4-0? You're even welcomed by somebody that's in the 40 Club and Darkron, and obviously I'm surprised that Omen Black and Soldier GP haven't wished you a happy birthday today. I'm surprised that the likes of Chris Craven or Sean Jovi haven't wished you a happy birthday. But maybe they're obviously maybe they're out planning a surprise birthday party for you, for all I know.
Who knows? I really don't know, but look at that. Yeah. I don't know.
A couple of things, though. Well, speaking of things, you know what? Mr. Titan would like to say, happy anniversary to me being the GOAT. The day I was discovered as the best wrestler in the South. Even the world, some people may say, but happy birthday.
Okay, there you go. Happy birthday.
Well, do you think? Well, you know what? I'm going to make you chuckle. Obviously, I know you're getting tired. We're getting near the end of the show, but no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to make you laugh here. I'm going to make you laugh. Now, obviously, Mr. Titan is the hardcore champion in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. You probably know that by now, but yesterday I had on a gentleman named Radu Bulat, who basically is kind of like the United States version of what the UK has, and Jimmy Controversy and hardcore guys that are very established hardcore and deathmatch wrestling, experts. And I had mentioned Mr. Titan's name to Mr. Radu Bulat, and obviously Radu Bulat is obviously wrestled for a company that has 25,000 followers. 25,000. We love TBW, but Pursuit Pro Wrestling in the UK has 25,000, and I had brought up Atomic Titan as the hardcore king, one of the hardcore names in the sport. And what do you think Mr. Bulat had said or not said?
He probably laughed.
He basically didn't know who I was talking about.
Of course, because he's not known. But
alas, there's always hope, because Mr. Titan is still the hardcore king. And I did bring up that he's the hardcore king of Sportswire Radio. And Mr. Bulat said that he would obviously take that into consideration, but he focused his efforts more on a man named Hardcore, whose name is actually Hardcore. And you'll probably laugh at this. I guarantee you, James, you'll never do this. And I would probably say the missus would probably never approve of you doing this. Hardcore actually had a syringe put under his lip from a wrestler, Jimmy Controversy, who was in Resurrection Wrestling, and Hardcore had a syringe put through his lip. So yeah,
I'm not into that death match wrestling. Death match wrestling is one thing, and I did a little bit of it back in the day. But
we watched them in the TWA days. Yes,
I didn't do the stupid, fucking piece of cutter shit.
But you might want it. But don't you want Atomic Titan to do some of that? Would you like to see Titan in a death match against a guy like Radu Bulat, who, by the way, Radu Bulat's been stuffed in a bin with no garbage in it. He's had he's been hit with a TV. He's been suplexed with a table full of forks. I mean, do you think that Atomic Titan would be a match you'd like to see him in with a guy like Radu Bulat, who's basically, as I said, done some things to his body that, I'm sure Mr. Titan would maybe want to explore a little bit on?
Oh, yeah, I think they tear the house down. I'd pay money to see that.
So you think that Titan versus Bulat, obviously, TBW's got 7,400 subscribers almost on YouTube. Pursuit Pro Wrestling, 25,000 followers on Instagram. Should I tag Mr. Bulat to remind him of this? Or no, don't do that, Mr. Titan's sake.
No, let Titan go to them, and Titan can sign it up because he's the hardcore king, right?
Well, yeah, he's the hardcore king.
I'd like to see it, though. I'd like to see Titan.
Because apparently, Mr. Bulat's, he's from XP. He's even friends with guys in XPW. A guy named Masada. Masada is important to know because Masada was trained by a guy you probably heard of named Shawn Michaels. Only Shawn Michaels trained Masada. And obviously, Masada, by the way, just so you know, Masada follows yours truly, by the way. He knows who yours truly is. So we might be seeing Masada on Sportswire Radio. So maybe I could talk about Masada versus Atomic Titan even. So, he's obviously, I know he's got his hands full with Manny Cobra, and he just defeated Alan Michaels and Jacob Young. But, if he wants to step into the lane of the likes of Radu Bulat and obviously Masada,
Hey, anything can happen.
Yeah, and by the way, Peter Richard says, yes, Masada, yes, and stay tuned for this one, because Masada, he might be coming to Sportswire. So all I'm going to say is, Peter, he's obviously a man. He is a legend. Masada is a legend, and he certainly knows who yours truly is, and he has watched some footage of yours truly on Instagram from friends of the show like Radu Bulat, Jimmy Controversy, Mikey Anarchy, Hardcore, and some people say, and James, by the way, before we actually move on to final things, I actually might be stepping into the hardcore commentary on Sportswire, because if you saw my announcement for Radu Bulat, which I know you saw on Instagram, I was actually, blading on the air to get more followers. Did you see my video on Instagram where there was blood coming up from my chin? What did you think about that? Maybe I'm going into the world of hardcore and deathmatch commentary for all we know, I mean, Titan's the hardcore.
Shaving that thing that you do right there? Did you
I purposely did. I actually purposely did that. I purposely, no, seriously. I did that purposely to say, what? I'm getting this guy, Radu Bulat, on, right? He was asking me, how are you going to announce me? Because I was recommended to him by one of our, actually, he's the man that has the second most views on my YouTube channel for an interview, Necro Daddy. And Necro Daddy wrestled Radu Bulat. Necro Daddy, a.k.a. Jake Carnage, is a very good friend of yours truly because he likes that yours truly gives everybody the floor. Think of Jake Carnage like the hardcore UK version of Anthony Steele. So anyways, Mr. Bulat asked me, so I've watched your videos and how you announce people. How are you going to announce me? And I said, I said, you just wait, my friend. You just watch. And, well, as you saw, I was bleeding on the screen and did my video, and it got over 500 views on Instagram and 300 on Facebook, and it got 100 something on Twitter. So apparently it worked.
Maybe you need to keep doing that then.
You know what's funny? In fact, I might be doing it more often because one of our I can say because you are part of Sportswire. One of our listeners actually called me and said, I watched your video today. Did somebody jump you and beat you up? I said, no. I said, I cut myself to show I'm having a hardcore deathmatch expert wrestler from England to come onto Sportswire. And she was like, oh, you did that? You really caught my attention. Now she's like, what's wrong with you? So, But, before we sign off here, there is one person, by the way, that would like to wish you a happy birthday for a few minutes. And obviously, I would certainly like to bring him on as we're getting ready to close the show. And I probably don't have a voice for much longer, so I think you might know who this person is. And no, it's not Loose Cannon, although Loose Cannon would certainly love to obviously come on and wish you a happy birthday, but I'm not going to do that to you just yet, James Taylor. But there is one person that would like to wish you a happy birthday, and certainly as you are turning the big 4-0, and before we get ready to sign off here, it would not be a show, and it would not be a birthday celebration without the man himself, the man that you are obviously most famous for of doing a couple of dances with in the ring. He is a fellow Hall of Famer of yours. He is the co-host of the Inside the Rope show. He is also the man that was the former NOCW First Blood champion. He is about to be here shortly, and his name is the real deal, Anthony Steele. Also, to wish you a happy birthday before he comes on here, he will be here tomorrow with us here, 10 o'clock, to review WWE SmackDown. Chris Craven, he likes to call himself the real Craven. He is our coach. He also wants to wish you, well, he said, yo, Tom, but I think he's wishing you happy birthday. But obviously, Mr. Steele would like to obviously come on and wish you a very happy birthday before we sign off. Also, Mr. Darkron says, looks like I need to teach Atomic Turd to show the legendary Nemesis a little more respect on his birthday. I'm not sure, but Anthony, as obviously we're getting ready to say sayonara, it wouldn't be a birthday celebration without you on the air. So what would you like to say to Mr. James Taylor, the man that said a lot about you earlier on the show? And hopefully it's a happy birthday wish you give him.
Happy birthday, buddy, man. Hey, it's all respect for me today. All right, there's no shit talk.
That's very nice of you. Very, very nice move, Anthony.
How's it been? You doing all right today? Anything exciting? Did you go
exciting.
get any new Stone Cold merch?
Not today. I missed out on it today.
I gave him a certificate, though, and I actually created a collage for him. So I did give him something. You can't say that I wasn't empty-handed. And I gave him a 10-minute introduction, by the way, on his birthday.
Hell yeah. There you go. Appreciate it, though. And I appreciate that, Tom. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And I hope I didn't rant too long whenever I was.
Oh, I loved it. No, listen, it brought the views. People all of a sudden were like, wow, what did James say this time? But actually, no, it was actually very nice. James was very humble. He was very appreciative, and he thanked everybody. He thanked you. He thanked Atomic Titan, actually. He thanked Jack Delta. He thanked TBW. He thanked Resurrection. He thanked Peter Richards. He thanked everybody out there. He mentioned Curtis Real. I mean, he mentioned, everybody he could, really. Oh, even Omen Black and Soldier GP. He certainly gave them big shout-outs. He mentioned Darkron and CJ Black. I mean, he goes on and on and on and on and on. And he thanked Loose Cannon, by the way.
I got the best stunner in the yard, though.
He thanked Loose Cannon and Zack Attack.
Loose Cannon's match in IMF is by far my favorite IMF match.
Great. Is that the greatest IMF match of all time? Is that match? Everybody talks about Hogan and Andre, right? Everybody talks about Hogan and Andre, right? But is Freddie Daniels and Loose Cannon up there? I mean, you think about everybody talks about Hogan and Rock. Everybody that was talking about Daniels and Ospreay. But shouldn't we now, when we think about all-time great wrestling matches, should Loose Cannon and Freddie Daniels be there? Because I know it's a serious question, and maybe we'll let the coach say happy birthday as well. But the point is that should we put that match up there at all-time wrestling matches?
No.
Why not?
Why not? Why do you say no?
I said today is going to be the day that I'm nice. I'm gonna respectfully say no.
But apparently, to the IMF audience, it's one of the most viewed.
Of course it is, and we all know why.
I mean, Freddie Daniels.
James,
James,
Well, Freddie Daniels is a good talent. We're not to take anything away from Freddie Daniels, and we're not taking away from Loose Cannon's talent either. By the way,
I don't know because he sounds perfectly fine. You sound like you're in a tunnel talking from the other end. Is like what's going on?
Fine to me, but why do you sound like you just woke up?
Why do what?
You sound like you just woke up. Are you all right?
I did.
Oh, okay.
My girl came home and she goes, "Hey, will you take a nap with me?" And I'm like, "Shit, I ain't got shit to do till later tonight."
I've been dying to take a nap. Actually, that's my plan. Hopefully, in the next 90 minutes, take a 2-hour nap. I'm praying for that. So hopefully, I get.
have a question.
You need to sleep all night.
I could sleep all week if I could, honestly. But whatever.
What's the big 4-0 feel like, man?
Well, I was asked that at the beginning of the show. I'm glad you asked. I mean, I really feel the same. Mentally, I feel stronger. I feel smarter. I know a lot more and wiser. You know, I don't know everything in the book, but I know a hell of a lot more now than I did 20 years ago. Physically, I feel pretty good. I feel just about the same. If anything, I feel stronger. You know, yeah. I mean, it's just part of getting old, but I mean, I don't feel really any different at all than I did 20 years ago. I'm being straight up. So there's a lot of squeaking going on. I need some WD-40 on them hinges. Tom, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for what you've done and bringing me on here and celebrating this day. It's been a hell of a day. In about 27 minutes, I'll turn officially 40.
Okay.
And, so I mean, it's been a good day. I'm glad that the people that have tuned in. You know, I am being humble about everything because you know it's age is just a number. And happy birthday, James, you old fucker! That's one of the guys, Curtis Real, right there.
Curtis Real.
I mean,
we're gonna let Coach before we say goodbye. Coach Chris Craven wants to wish you a happy birthday, fellow Hall of Famer.
I appreciate it.
And there it is.
How you doing?
Well, hello, gentlemen.
Reminded me of Jack Nicholson, gentlemen. And it was almost like in the scene in Batman where they were in the art gallery, and that was Coach right now.
That was the best movie, the best Jack Nicholson movie. I love it.
Except for I don't want to know where people get their wonderful toys. That's your own business.
Yeah.
Coach, how you doing, Coach? And you know we're reunited with all Hall of Famers, and Coach is with us Friday nights 10 o'clock. But obviously, before we say sayonara, what do you want to say to Mr. Taylor turning the big 4-0? Obviously, what do you like to say to James?
You're old.
Yes, I am. But I mean, you're not too much further ahead of me. But I know I'm in that club now. You know, and so Mr. Darkron welcomed me into it. And
that was so nice of him.
I didn't know I thought he was. I know he was around the same age, but I guess he might be a few months or a year older than me. I don't know, but. I feel the same as I did 20 years ago. Honestly, I just feel, you know, a little bit more knowledgeable, but I'm always learning every day, and I'm still ready to go. So.
And I was just saying also, Coach, that to James and Anthony, that the greatest wrestling match of all time should be, certainly for consideration, should be Loose Cannon versus Freddie Daniels on IMF YouTube channel. So, because we were talking.
Morella versus Beth Phoenix.
And damn, Craven, I saw you lost to Joe. Oh boy! By the way, now you know I'm sure you're not liking that shot there by CJ Black because he said you lost to Sean Jovi at Dead or Alive at WCE just 3 hours ago. Oh boy! Now I got real quiet.
That fake Craven, yeah, not this Craven.
Okay, because he's saying that somebody named Craven lost. Somebody.
I haven't been to Iowa yet. Or Wisconsin.
Okay.
Summer Bash in July.
Well, but he's saying that Craven lost, so I don't know if it's maybe he's just
got to be that rage guy that steals people's gimmicks and names and shit. It's got to be that guy.
Maybe some would also say, by the way, one of the greatest guests in Nemesis Sessions history. By the way.
Who?
Craven Rage, yeah. Craven Rage, yeah. He's one of the greatest guests of all time, and you know, Nemesis
I saw
Sessions.
him up on here not that long ago. He was up on your show. He had the glory hole cut out of his mask for when he does those.
Well, if you watch Dead or Alive, you'll see the mask he had on. You'll probably. We're on tomorrow talking about SmackDown. If you get a chance to watch a little bit of his match with Sean Jovi and you see the mask he put on there, I'm sure you'll have something to say about that tomorrow when we're on the air talking about SmackDown.
We don't get on here and have shit talking contests anymore. I want it back.
Well, James actually said it's his 40th birthday. He's turning a new cheek. Anthony's obviously turned a new cheek. He's co-host of the Inside the Rope show with Omen Black. And, the guys are obviously trying to be more mature. James has turned 40. He's feeling more, confident, and he's feeling more humble and happy, and he's, more reflective, and he's thinking about the future. And Anthony's obviously now become a fellow podcaster and interviewer, and, he's obviously got his girl that he's been making sure that he's got to make sure to sleep and have a nice time with, and go to the movies with, and watch WWE with, and, just do things that, I think are special.
Yeah, take her to date, take her to dinner, flick her bean once in a while, you're good.
So I'm looking at the Nemesis Sessions, and the most viewed. Y'all ready for this? The most viewed episode was Anthony Steele, episode 13, chapter 13. Anthony Steele talks about backyard wrestling. So at 390 views.
And I was thinking Craven Rage, you would have said. Now, I know that Anthony's number one in views, but if you get Triple W, if you get the Big Bad Silver Wolf, you can't lose.
I'll tell you what, why don't we co-host that, Tom? Why don't we co-host that?
I'll consider that. That's an interesting comment. If you really think you really want to co-host it, I'm open to it.
Let's co-host it. We'll dual stream too. You stream live on yours, I'll stream live on mine.
Are we able to actually simultaneously do that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so you know what? What do you think? I know it's James's birthday, but wouldn't be, I guess, at least a little bit of fun on James's birthday without saying, do you want to see more Triple W on the Nemesis Sessions or Sportswire? If you're out there, do you want to see the Big Bad Silver Wolf? Some would say, Coach, he can't run the ropes. He's saying he can, but there is matches out there where he was actually walking. It's the company that's where the Big Bad Silver Wolf is the world champion and Loose Cannon's the chairman of. He's the chairman of the company. He's the chairman.
That's that guy that looks like Kip from Kicking It Old School, right? He's the one that looks like that reject dancer, right? Yeah, that's who that is. Oh, okay.
He's the world champion for 300 days. He's the world crown champion. He's actually the world crown.
Whiny wussy wannabes, right? WWW.
I'm not going to go that far in saying that because they're going to be back on Sportswire, but they are certainly making names.
I'm supposed to add that bias.
No, the good news is, have no fear. James is saying that if he brings them on, that I could come on and join in. So you might have an opportunity to be on that chair.
Hey, Chris. Yes. No, the Triple W stands for Weak Weirdo Wrestling.
I could think of a couple other analogies. Let's not go. Keep going.
Well, but they actually make for entertaining. People seem to want to hear them on Sportswire, though.
It's the same reason why people watch Loose Cannon versus Freddie Daniels for that one spot.
He's undefeated. He's undefeated in IMF. Some would say that Loose Cannon versus Freddie Daniels could be confused with Danielson and Ospreay.
No, it cannot.
Wrestling weebles.
How about this? All right, I got an idea. James, what do you think about co-hosting and watching and reliving the match on the Nemesis Sessions of Loose Cannon and Freddie Daniels?
I want to do it. Can I have
I want to do it.
I want to do it.
I'll tell you what. So, what do you think, James? What do you think? Sometime next week, you bring out the old Nemesis Sessions, and maybe you do the match that again some would confuse it. Was it like Hogan and Rock? Was it maybe comparable to Brett and Shaw in the Iron Man match? Everybody
say one thing about it. Freddie Daniels should have picked up the victory in that match.
Was that politics there?
It must have been politics, but if anybody deserved the victory, it should have been Freddie. Freddie should have kicked Loose Cannon's sorry Lucy looking ass.
But you know what? Loose Cannon right now works for the Boston Red Sox, so apparently that win helped him get with the Red Sox.
Oh my God! I'm still trying to figure out how you're comparing these two backyarders to legends like Andre and Hogan.
Because in backyard wrestling lore, the viewers apparently seem to think these guys should be considered that.
Anthony, Remember when he came out?
You can't even compare these two to Tom and Jerry, for Christ's sake.
I do enjoy Tom.
Beavis and Butthead. That would be insulting Beavis and Butthead.
Well, Loose Cannon's going to have a death match, apparently.
Oh, my God. Good luck. I think he'd probably have a really good match with Atomic Titan.
You know what? You know what? Atomic Titan, I know C2K has for years been wanting Atomic Titan, but Loose Cannon and Atomic Titan could be a dream match. You think about the possibility.
The ultimate match. Loose Cannon, triple threat, death match all the way for the hardcore title. Loose Cannon versus C2K and the Atomic Titan. That would be the match of the ages.
Death match, C2K, Atomic Titan. With Loose Cannons. Cannons could be drawn. We will see if C2K will be able to stand afterwards. Could you imagine Atomic Titan with the turtleneck wrestling in a death match against Loose Cannon? This is what we want to see. Maybe TBW could have it. They were, after all, on Barstool. They got 7,400 subscribers on YouTube. Maybe we'll get to 10,000. Having C2K in the ring with Loose Cannon could be a dream that everybody wants. Forget about Danielson and Ospreay. I'm just okay.
Sounds like a country song. Anyway, some of you are going to get this. Steele, you might not. You're a little on the younger side there. Tom, you should get this. You look like you're old enough. And he's 40 he's got his celebrate. He's 40 with somebody go chop him 40 times. Anyway, the next time I see a match, or if I see Atomic Titan, I highly doubt it. But if I see him at Summer Bash and he comes out, I'm going to get the entrance team person to play the song from A Land Before Time and call him a long neck. Littlefoot.
Stay tuned, I suppose. Stay tuned. I mean, we'll have to find out. So you guys don't think that Loose Cannon and Freddie Daniels could be on the all-time dates?
I just read that comment. So,
okay.
James,
what do you want to say,
James? Do you mind? Do you mind? It's your 40th birthday. Do you mind if I answer this the way I would answer it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So the reason why the match has that many fucking views is when this motherfucker
Give me 1 second.
basically looked like he slipped on a banana peel in the middle of the fucking ring and busted his ass. Oh, dude, because it was the funniest. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And Omen and Soldier literally sat on a phone call together and watched that like 20 fucking times back to back to back to back to back to back to back. It's the same reason. They're laughing stocks. They're the jokes of backyard wrestling. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying that because it's true. People love to laugh at them because they're portraying make believe, and when you play make believe, things are bound to fuck up. And when you fuck up, what's better to do than laugh? Because at that point in time, people are going to look at you and be like, can you actually work? Can you do what Chris Craven has done? Can you do what Anthony Steele has done? Can you do what James Taylor has done? No, you cannot. So therefore, to answer your question, CJ, it's because it's a laughing stock match of IMF. It is the laughing stock match of IMF.
Well, I think that also about that. That's what Dark Crown wanted to say. That's what Dark Crown wanted to say. Yep. So I guess maybe we could watch that match one of these days real soon on Sportswire. Where can I watch this legendary match? Well, I'm tempted to actually put it up on the screen now, but I don't have much of a voice. But I want to call it when I'm at 100%. But I am tempted to put it up. In fact, you know what? I will actually put it up on the screen just as a test. I actually should have the match here. Give me 1 second, because I actually think I have it right in front of me. So let's go. Here we go. So, boom, 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 boom. Oh, nope, this is not it. Nope. Just give me 1 second. my friend Peter Richards, and I am actually going to present to you the match. I'm not going to play the match. I'm going to tell you where it is. It should be up here right about. I still can't find the match. I don't know where it is. They took it off the screen. Loose Cannon, and I don't see it. Loose Cannon. Well, go to the IMF YouTube page. For whatever reason, I still can't find it. I don't know where it is.
It doesn't exist. No, anyway.
No, it exists. I saw it here. I watched it once. Let's see. Loose Cannon.
I swear, they took it off.
No, they definitely didn't take it off. They didn't take it off. Loose Cannon Wrestling.
Maybe it's not under wrestling. It's under ballet.
No. Let's see. Loose Cannon.
Try putting hashtag women's beach fight.
All right, now I'm gonna really find it. Okay, Loose Cannon. Okay, here we go. No.
Wait.
No.
Latest. There we go.
I'm gonna find it.
Find it and give me the link because I can't find it for whatever reason.
I'm about to.
Are you about to play this match?
Please.
I don't want to play the match. I want to show it on the screen because I would love to call the match, but my voice is not very good at the moment. I don't have much of a voice.
It's not really much to call.
Here, you're good.
All right. Well, if you want to give me the link in the chat, if you want to PM me the link, and I'll put it up.
We all know that I talk enough for everybody.
I really think that they might have taken it off. I'm right here around when it was. Hold on.
I thought the same exact thing. I was like, where is that match? But if you don't,
they took it off. Hold on.
Well, while I get to it here, if you want to find the match like we are, there's the IMF page. Check it out. Go find it if you want. That's where you can find all IMF footage. And maybe next week we'll find it. If the guys can find it, great. If not, let me get to a few final thoughts. Obviously, James is at.
I found something for you. I found something better.
Okay, well, I'll take that before we sign off.
All right, so I'm gonna send you this link. I'll put it in the chat.
Put it in the link.
You have to go to time marker 4:18. Okay. Okay,
let's put in Coach Chris Craven. All right, Coach, we found something here. We'll see what it adds up to be.
I'm about to send it. Just give me one whole hot minute, and I will. Oh my goodness! All right, you ready? I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram.
I said, "Are you ready for Loose Cannon in the WWE Hall of Fame?" I think Loose Cannon should get the world title. Maybe he should get the Triple W world title, the World Crown title.
All right, here you go. Paste.
Okay.
Sending it. There it is. Go to the timestamp 4:18.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, 4:18. Okay, all right. You said.
This is the best I can find, but y'all are gonna love this. This was
very
epic. This is very epic.
All right, so we'll put the share the screen. I have it up right now. Give me 1 second.
You watching, Anthony?
Oh, I'm free. There we go. Okay. This should be it right here. Okay, 4:18 mark. Let me go to the 4:18 mark. And now. Okay, 4:18. Here we go. All right, 4:18.
You just put it at 4 minutes. It don't matter. Whatever works best for you. All right, full screen, boss. There you go, guys.
Hey, I see Omen right there.
See the guy in the gray hoodie? That's a force to be reckoned with. Watch out.
What the fuck was that? I'd have done the same thing. I'd have turned the camera off of them too.
Mr. Soldier himself.
I gotta give Soldier this. He drops this fool.
I'm wondering, did they really take the match off?
Both matches.
I'm just gonna stand here and let you hit me. What the fuck is that shit? This looks like the homeless dude. Is that his 30 drawers hanging out the
This is the move that retired him from IMF right here. This is what retired him.
He flung him. He flung him like I fling newspapers.
Rewind it. I missed it.
Was Omen driving?
One second.
No selling motherfucker. Oh my god.
This move retired Loose Cannon.
Retire. He just never started. That's a broken arm and hip. What the fuck? And whoever this guy in the red tights and the
Remington Striker.
That's Remington Striker. He can at least do more.
Look at Soldier. Soldier's gonna kill him.
2 shots.
what the fuck?
Looks like you're doing nothing. Oh, yeah. Fucked up.
Hey now. Hey, dude, wash your fucking clothes. What the fuck?
That was the worst, guy.
He's got a jersey on top of his speedo, under his speedo. What the fuck? Does our mommies know they walked out the house looking like this that day? Like, what the fuck?
April 8th? April 8th, we're going to beat the fuck out of you.
Neither one of these men have a woman in their life, right? I don't know a woman alive that let them walk out of the house.
Loose Cannon's a father, by the way. Just had a baby.
Adopted?
No, baby. He had a baby.
Can't smell these nuts.
What's the partner's name? What's his name?
You betrayed IMF for money, Mike.
It wasn't betrayal.
You fight this guy?
Betrayal.
I'm sorry, but Omen and Soldier. Omen and Soldier's way above these guys. I mean, Remington's pretty good, but Loose.
Is that Loose Cannon's dad?
Can I make an observation? Why does it look like Omen's got like small little Super Mario boots on? This big dude with these little Mario feet.
Two pussies. That's his
partners.
Sorry, I'm just.
We'll take care of that. You chose a loose lip.
Oh my God, I'm sorry,
That's
but
all you chose.
it was just a moment.
I gotta ask. I mean, did they pick these two up from Home Depot? Were they standing outside collecting change? Like, where the fuck did the old guys come from?
Ray Rogers.
They both look like they need to be down the bingo hall with their little markers.
Hey.
Loose Cannon said he was going to take his title.
You can't lace my shoes that I'm wearing right now. And look at that. They don't have fucking.
No wonder he probably only knows Velcro. Jesus Christ. I can't. I fucking can't.
You just said me too.
But today, I'll make an exception.
Loose Cannon's a good kid. He just needs training.
Kid.
A lot of training.
He looks like they're dirt that came from the fucking hospital. Like they're dirt. Don't go full retard. Oh my God.
We'll find the match for the next show. We'll find the match, but that was a snippet of what you're gonna
page. I went through their entire YouTube page. YouTube page. It's not.
Got to be on a show somewhere. It was there, but obviously that's
because at that point there was no shows. There were just individual matches. Like they would post individual matches.
Yeah.
And
you know
it's
what?
not
The less that they produce, the better.
They might have unlisted it. You probably just need to get a direct link from.
I'll figure it out, obviously, but that's what Loose Cannon's going to bring to the table. Obviously, one of the all-time greats in this sport.
Oh my God.
Don't
Look,
say
guy,
that.
I like you. You're a nice dude. You're real humble, but I think you're best at maybe being a ref.
No, he's got to count to
He
three.
said no. He said
He
no.
can't even put 3 articles to close together properly. You want him to count to 3?
What about putting up the ring? Could he be good at putting up the ring? He's a big guy, could help out putting the wood on the bottom.
The guy looks like Rufus that used to walk out with Chris Jericho at WCW. Like,
Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I think James. I think your birthday. We've gotten to the point. Does anybody else want to say anything else about James' birthday before we sign? Because I think we'll be continued on Loose Cannon's greatest hits. We will find Loose Cannon's greatest hits and we will watch them. Because I promise you, Loose Cannon. He's going to be back on the show soon, and I'll ask him that question. By the way,
I can't get a match card for the whole weekend of Summer Bash. I get a couple things from Omen and Soldier, but I don't get anything else. These boys need to put that shit together so we can get rolling.
Well, Triple W would love to have you. No, maybe I can put a good word in for you.
Want to bring them to Summer Bash? Hey, everybody needs a mascot.
Hey, listen, Loose Cannon, Big Bad Silver Wolf, and Adonis Felios could replace Ego for you.
At that point, I would go get my own 3 guys from Home Depot.
And happy birthday. Hope to see everyone here at Summer Bash. Obviously, that'll be July 5th to July 7th. It'll be in beautiful Berman, Ohio. And you can find out more information on that at Dark Cryptic Wrestling's YouTube page. Also, the IMF's pages on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will be talking about it a lot between now and July 5th to the 7th. So stay tuned.
You know what you can see there?
Rumor has it, Tom, that you're definitely going to be there, right?
I actually addressed this on there. I said I may be there. I specifically said may be there. So stay tuned.
Well,
stay tuned.
You know what you can.
No, you're going to be there. Right?
There could be an AI version of me now because Kiss is doing AI.
Like coerce, manipulate, or convince, or any way, shape, or form. I mean,
stay tuned.
One of you younger guys that might have the budget, buy this man, buy him a date or something. Get him a pizza. Like, we need to get him to the Summer Bash. Coerce him somehow.
Stay tuned on that. But is there anything else anybody else wants to say? Because now I'm about to lose my voice. So anybody else?
You know what you can see at Summer Bash?
Anthony Steele
versus Chris Craven.
Oh, you can?
If you're there. We won't.
I'm gonna be there.
Can you make Loose Cannon?
No one shares a link with you.
I'm gonna be there.
Loose
I might drag James out. I might go pick up James and tell James.
How about this? Will Loose Cannon be the special enforcer?
Fuck nah.
Bring it on.
Hey, wait. Special enforcer like Arn Anderson or Bethel?
I would say like Gilbert, like Merwin Gilbert.
Just say Rufus. It's all right. Rufus.
I would love to, but Rufus didn't have any teeth, and he had this shirt that looked like when you remember in prison, you'd have like the people that wear the shirts like they were like bait. That's kind of like it would be what Loose Cannon would be. But thank you, everybody. James Taylor, happy birthday to you. I hope this was a birthday you'll remember. We will see everybody Saturday night, 9 o'clock, Jason Storm. Coach is going to be here alongside myself, Randy Dillon. TBK will be with us. We're going to talk SmackDown, maybe Loose Cannon's greatest hits. And Sunday, I've got a major guest, which I'm going to tell these guys off the air who it is, but on the air, you're going to stay tuned for. So until then, happy birthday, James. Hope you enjoyed this and couldn't wait to be back with you guys soon on Sportswire Radio. Thank you, Coach and Anthony Steele, for all you do. Thank you to all the people in the chat. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global relation to the Sportswire Radio. And Darkron Sunday is the guest. Sunday night is the guest that I'm going to have that I promise you it's going to be a big deal. So if you want, I can tell it to you off the air. You message me on Facebook, I'll give it to you. But I can't tell you on the air. But thank you, everybody. I'll see everybody soon.